Coming up on today's show, we have a chat with aerialist Emma Bloomfield. Local metal band Negatives gives us a preview of their debut single. We also sit down to have a chat with local ambient music producer Cellars. And we take a look at some alternative fashion. Coming up first, our host Carolyn Kelly sits down with our first featured artist, aerialist Emma Bloomfield, to discuss what exactly an aerialist is.
Hello, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us today.
Hello.
So, aerialist, I mean, that sounds so intriguing, interesting. Tell us a little bit about what that entails and what it is you do as your job.
So, an aerialist is someone you've probably seen in the circus, like a traditional circus. And we're the ones who climb up different bits of equipment like trapeze, aerial hoop, silks, but I am predominantly a rope artist, so it's a thin bit of rope, bit like silks, which are the curtain type ones, but one rope going up, doing different tricks, tumbles, falls.
Amazing. I mean, you just saying that to me, I can visualize it. It sounds unbelievable. It sounds brilliant. How did you get into that? What kind of started that career path for you?
It really was a hobby at first. So, like a little bit about my background, I went away to London when I was 19 to go to fine art school, but it didn't really work out for me, so I decided to leave. And when I got back, I'd already dabbled a little bit in sort of other bits of ground-based circus. And then I saw a course, like a 4-week course in trapeze, and I thought, that would be quite interesting to do.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and then I found a club, and I went there every single week. And within like a year of coming back from art school, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
Like it just like
clicked.
Yeah, I heard there was a passion there from the start. So
brilliant. And so it kind of just went from there, really. Honestly, that sounds amazing. Talking about running away with the circus, it sounds brilliant.
Well, I actually did.
Did you?
I did run away with the circus.
Okay, so tell us, explain that.
So yeah, within this kind of find an aerial business, I was like, oh, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to make it like, my job to be this? And I found a circus school that was, there's been a few courses about for quite a few years now within building-based schools, but this course I found was a sort of vocational one where you lived in a trailer, learned everything you needed to learn to be a performer in a traditional big top. So we put a big top up every single week. We had lessons throughout the day from different teachers, and then we performed on evenings and weekends.
Fantastic.
And lived in trailers.
Yeah.
It was great.
Wow. And so how long ago was that?
Oh, that was 2009.
Okay.
So quite a while ago.
Yeah, honestly, like that sounds absolutely amazing. And so when you finished that training, what happened next?
So when I finished, I actually got a contract for a big top circus the year after. I finished that contract and then I came home to the Northeast.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, I can imagine a lot of people at home, when you say, I ran away with the circus, they think it's very glamorous, romantic, and, it's got that real essence of a film about it, really, a story. What was it really like? What's the realistic side?
It's not like that. I mean, of course, you're putting makeup on, you're putting costumes on every day. That actually becomes quite do I have to put these eyelashes on again?
Yeah.
But also just the sheer work involved. Like when you're not performing, the young girls like me would have to go out and give leaflets out in different towns, be on the box office, and then put up the tent as well. Like, we helped put up the tent, and that was significantly larger than when I was on the training course.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of work.
So it's real hard labour.
Yeah, it is.
A massive thank you to Emma for appearing on the show. I'm sure we'll be hearing from her very soon. But coming up next on the show, we have a local metal outfit called Negatives. So just a warning for this one, this video may contain flashing lights and you may want to turn your speakers down just a tad. This one gets a little aggressive. A big thank you to the boys in Negatives, and you can check out the rest of the video at their YouTube at Negatives Official, and check out the rest of their music on all major streaming platforms. Coming up next on the show is our second featured artist, ambient music producer Paul Smith, aka Cellars.
I think with a synthesizer, the sounds that you can create are just so far removed from anything else you'll hear through any other medium. And it's a really, it just takes you away, really.
Definitely.
It's hard to describe, but the emotions you can sort of bring up with the sounds you can create, as I say, you can have a really jarring sound at one point where you're like on edge and it creates tension, but then you can go the other way in a second and it can be so peaceful and soothing.
It's really nice. You're actually doing a really good job of kind of describing it for me as someone who's never really listened to that type of music or those sounds before. I think because you're you seem like a very relaxed and like mellow person, and so I can really see that kind of connection, and it kind of resembles a little bit of what I can imagine the music would be like, a little bit.
I think that's one of the things, if I didn't have music, I probably would be the other way. But because I have this sort of other interest or outlet that I can channel things into, that kind of takes any kind of aggression away from what I might be feeling.
So how important would you say it is to have like another outlet, like a creative outlet in this sense?
At the moment, I think it's really anything you can grab onto and anything that sparks your interest. Now would be a good time to kind of follow it, because you can, those that are at home that can't work or have time on their hands and have the ability to sort of do some kind of creative outlet and follow it, whether they're novice or professional or whatever it might be. If it's going to give you some kind of focus away from what's going on outside now, well, you cannot control it.
Yeah, exactly.
All you can do is sort of deal with it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and create something that brings to you, it doesn't really matter about anyone else. If anyone else enjoys it, because music, especially, I think, like all art, is subjective.
Yeah.
So I could do something like myself anyway, sorry. If I put something out and nobody listened to it, so what? I've made it myself, and I was happy enough to kind of put it out there.
Yeah.
So for anyone sitting at home that might be wanting to do the same thing,
Yeah.
just give it a go.
Yeah.
You've
definitely.
got to try it, because if you don't try it, you'll never know.
Exactly. And I think in a time where people have got more time on their hands than ever, really, and they're kind of looking for things to do, looking for things to keep their mind occupied, because that's a really big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's, when is there a better time than to pick up something creative or a new hobby, or maybe it's like an interest that they've always had but never quite had the time to pursue. Yeah, it's definitely the time to do it, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Definitely.
and then it could lead on to other things. You just never know.
Exactly.
At the minute, I feel last year I played for the first time live,
Okay.
which was filmed, and I thought I'd never ever be able to do that
Yeah.
with the way I create music. I thought I'd always be like just in the studio,
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah.
And I thought I kind of see it. I mean, other artists who I really admire do it, you know, or did do it regularly. But,
Yeah.
and I would go and see them, but I could never imagine myself doing it. And then I did it last year, and it was recorded, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I was so excited.
Yeah.
But because of the way things are, I couldn't kind of do it again.
Yeah.
As such, not in a sort of the right environment. And I haven't been able to see any of the bands and the people that I follow.
Yeah. That
And
must be hard.
it's such a hard time for artists, as I say, especially like musical.
Definitely.
So those people like myself that do listen to music regularly or go to gigs regularly and haven't been able to do that now, then as you say, now could be the time for them to sort of pick up the baton
Yeah.
and do it for themselves at home.
Absolutely.
Massive thank you to Cellars, and you can check out all his work on major streaming platforms such as Spotify and Bandcamp. And finally on the show, we take a look at some alternative fashion.
I'm Betty Hope and my brand is Slutmouth. So I sell funky fashion and interior accessories, and I'm now branching further out into fashion. So t-shirts and dresses and balaclavas and crazy rosettes and things. So you can purchase my products on my website, which is www.slutmouth.co.uk.
Next time on Sessions from the Pit.